This film documents the progress and views of a diverse group of young people attending a 3-day workshop in London as they embark upon a training programme designed to promote leadership, the values of conflict resolution and empowerment. The workshop is a culmination of Onevoice Europe's work in UK schools and universities over the course of a year, and mirrors Onevoice's youth leadership programme in Israel-Palestine, where over 2,000 Palestinians and Israelis have received training. They now make up a dynamic movement of activists working towards an end of occupation and the establishment of a Palestinian state on the 67 border alongside a secure state of Israel. The young people who participated in this UK residential course are those who show potential for being agents of change where tensions about Israel and Palestine exist in Britain and further afield.
Israel-Palestine, and that for the first time Palestinian actors.
The aim of the session today was to place the conflict in Israel and Palestine within a political and economic context. We invited expert academics and business people to provide the participants with insights into these complex issues.
In the 1950s, France, not as many people presume, the United States, but France established itself as a dominant player and partner of Israel.
I was brought up in a political household, but coming from a Muslim background, you become sensitive to those issues. When you hear Palestine and Israel, it's already imprinted in your memory. I have had, and still to some extent do have, a pro-Palestinian view. For me, there is an issue of power, there's an issue of capacity, and about having a voice.
Because Israel has always been a part of my life, inevitably the conflict has always had some sort of presence in my life and my educational upbringing. It's very easy when thinking about the conflict to get incredibly disheartened because it's so complex and it seems that we're at stalemate.
I grew up knowing that we automatically need to support the Palestinians, our Palestinian brothers, we need to support them, they're struggling. When I became involved with politics, I started looking into this issue a little bit more scientifically, scrutinizing this issue.
It's an issue that I couldn't avoid. It's from my background, especially at home, at my synagogue and at school. I feel like it's an issue that I cannot avoid and something that I've got to find out more, I've got to discover more.
In the afternoon, the participants were invited to the Houses of Parliament for a panel debate on civil society with Lord Levy and Israeli and Palestinian speakers from the City University Olive Tree programme.
I think just talking about it, conversing with young people of my age who will be taking up their roles of leadership in the future, like myself I hope as well, and we will be able to make some change happen from the grassroots or even from our positions, whichever positions we will be holding.
At Onevoice, we feel that it is important to understand and engage with the religious issues of the conflict, so we invited 3 leaders from the Abrahamic faiths to explain and discuss the role that their religions play in the region.
Now, if you look at the holy site itself, it's known as the Haram Sharif, it's also known as the Masjid al-Aqsa, the famous mosque. And part of that is the Dome of the Rock. Remember, that is the Rock of Ascension.
When things are fulfilled in real political sense, how far do we want to bring in Psalm 137 into that political sense?
Well, for me, the most interesting thing was speaking and listening to the Imam. He said some really interesting things that was very impressive to hear from somebody who comes from the Muslim community. Somebody that can be a proud Muslim, but can also have a voice, a critical voice. And it's really important to have that because that's the basis of any kind of dialogue and progress.
I'd say the most interesting part was the idea of compromise. That was compromise between the religious leaders, the idea that yes, they have individually their own connection with the land. But that doesn't mean that you can't compromise. That doesn't mean you can't share. And that doesn't mean that you can't coexist.
Probably the most contentious issue in the entire conflict is Jerusalem, right?
How much of this is a show and how much is this actually of you actually doing stuff in your community? I know that's quite a question.
So we've got with us today debate mates who've done some workshops for us in Israel, Palestine and Jerusalem.
Some of you might be familiar with debating, or done debating before. We're going to do a demonstration debate between Ben and I.
The aim of today's workshop was to provide the participants with essential debating tools and public speaking skills. They had an opportunity to learn from internationally renowned debate experts, which gave them the chance to hone and practice debating in a supportive environment.
But the art of debate is crucial. Be able to stand up and voice an opinion and have your opinions held to account and have to justify yourself. If you can't do that, if there's no platform for you to do that or for anybody to do that, to voice any opinion, then there really is no future to be proud of.
Knowledge about the conflict is so necessary, but knowledge in itself is essentially useless. We can't do anything with it. And so the opportunity to have an interactive workshop meant that we could put the knowledge that we've learned into practice.
This house believes that the two-state solution is dead.
You guys are going to be on the proposition. Your job is to oppose the case.
Guys, try not to get too caught up on the definition. Like, try and just kind of agree on one approach to it.
You're put in a situation where you've just got the raw materials, you gather all the information together, and you just need to make that case.
Welcome to today's debate. Following the three main speeches from either side, there'll be a chance for the audience to take part and ask questions.
What we didn't hear when it comes to population was the fatalities and the countless injuries which have resulted from the conflict.
Will that not create more refugees and the host countries would still not be able to take in current people?
You have to have that effective strategy to take away the potential for long-term violence. I got a sense of like adrenaline, and it also gave me this kind of like afterwards, I thought, you know, I did that. I can do this again.
So it's been a fantastic 3 days. For me, it was really encouraging to see a group of young people coming from really different social, political, religious backgrounds coming together to discuss a topic that usually polarizes and divides people, but actually be able to use it as a basis to build solid relationships with one another, but also dig down into a tricky subject, come away with some truths, and hopefully empower them to be able to then spread those messages on campuses across the United Kingdom. So for me, it's been really encouraging to see that the methods we use in the Middle East to train up young people can work so effectively here in Britain as well. So for the last 10 years, Onevoice has trained up young Israelis and Palestinians, and some of those people who have graduated have gone on to become politicians in both Israel and Palestine, business leaders, people working in academia, and we can now link them up with these young people here in the UK and build a genuine network for change in the Middle East.
I've been greatly inspired by the process that I've been part of in the past 3 days. It's encouraged me to be more open and view this situation from bottom upwards.
I picked this programme because I wanted to find a way to communicate with people and I suppose be part of the process of change.
If you don't have people from all backgrounds holding all opinions coming together and at a grassroots level trying to resolve the conflict, then in more established and more important circles, we're never going to see that happen.
I think the more people that know conflict resolution techniques and non-violent communication techniques, the better, because it really will be the way forward, I think. Knowledge of that on both sides and a way of communicating that both sides understand and respect will be hugely important, both in sort of a grassroots movement of tolerance before a peace deal and also in the transition to two states. It'll prove vital, I think.